Okay, I'm live. I'm just waiting for, hello, just waiting for people to turn up. While we're waiting, I'd love to hear where you're from. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. So where are you from? I know I haven't been on here in ages. I just haven't had time to do lives lately. So where are you from? I'm in Vancouver, Canada. Pouring rain today, but it was gorgeous yesterday. I was wearing just a tank top and okay. Hi, Tabitha. I was missing you guys too. I just haven't had time. And then yesterday I did daycared my granddaughter twice this week. So, which is a lot of fun, but that takes up a couple of days. So, yeah, I just been super busy. So where are you from? Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hello, Diane. So where are you guys from? I feel rusty. I haven't done a live in probably a whole week. Yeah, it's probably been a week, maybe even longer. I don't know, maybe a week. I used to do them every day for about a year or two. But yeah, then I just got too busy. I still love doing them though. I don't know why I'm talking so quietly. Sunday night, kind of winding down. Plus I got car sick today. I don't throw up or anything, but it throws me off. If I get like vertigo like that, it throws me off for the rest of the day. So I'm not feeling my best. That's okay. Brandon, Mississippi. Is that Mississippi or Missouri? Mississippi. Is Mississippi a state? It's not, is it? Brandon. Oh, it is Mississippi. Is Mississippi a state? Oh, I didn't know that. City of Mississippi. Oh, okay. Massachusetts. Is that a state? I'm Canadian, by the way, so I'm allowed not to know. Okay. So how many people? I got a few people going here, so let's get going. My name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go to my website, which is BratBusters.com, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching. I've got a huge wait list right now. It's really stressful. Just getting all backed up here. Anyway, and then you can look into our podcast. My daughter and I do the podcast together, and I got in big trouble. We filmed 2 of them the other day, and evidently I didn't plug my microphone in properly, so she had to do a whole bunch of editing. And we really like them. Often when we film, we chuck half of them because we think, yeah, that wasn't the best. We just don't like them all. But we went, oh, I really like both of those. And then I found out my microphone wasn't plugged in. So we use the computer one. Hopefully we'll be able to use it anyway. Okay. So Lavelle, WI. What the heck is WI? Wisconsin? Massachusetts. Oh, they took it down. Massachusetts is in New England or something. I don't know. I get so confused. Well, us Canadians, evidently, we're not traveling down to the States anymore. So we're going to know even less about you. I don't know what's going on. I don't get into all that stuff. Sanger, Texas. Hello, Linda. Not enough space and no microphone. Yes, Tabitha. I keep messing up. I keep getting in trouble with my daughter. Yeah, anyways, that's just part of it. We were laughing. So please write a book. I need your advice, experience in one place. This was going to be the year of the book, but if you've been following me for a while now, you realize things have just taken off. So the podcast is sort of taken over from the book. Yeah, so a book, maybe one day. I don't know. You should see my schedule. It's crazy. Plus, I can't crash and burn. So we have to be very careful when we schedule stuff for me to do. But anyway, okay. So let's get, yeah, poor Amy. Absolutely right. What was it we did? We said something in someone was laughing. Oh, the spoons. Oh yeah, she got in trouble too. There's a story on one of our podcasts about the spoons. If you listen to the podcast, you'll know what I'm talking about. So she gets in trouble too. Mind you, that was 10 plus years ago, but anyway, I'm in trouble all the time. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. I will do my best to answer them. I teach parent-child relationships. I don't talk about anything else, nutrition or anything like that. I am just a parenting coach. I teach through my own personal experience with working with kids and raising a couple of them. Okay, and I was out with my granddaughter all day yesterday. And we hit the park twice. We hit a third park. We went to the library twice. When we were leaving she's only 15 months old. Poor thing. She was like this by the end of the day. Anyway, but when we were leaving the library, it's quite a long walk to get there from her place. We were leaving the library. As we're leaving, I thought, oh, they have a whole toy area. So after I took her home, she had a nap, and then we went back and played with the toys in the library. So yeah, I had a very busy day with my granddaughter yesterday. New Zealand, currently living in Japan. We used to ski in Queenstown in New Zealand because we lived in Australia for many, many years. Okay, so actually I'm going to read out, just in case you're new here, most people are regulars or used to be, but I don't come on here as much as I used to. So I just don't have the time. Something that I think is really important to remember is if you make your kids feel good about themselves, they're going to do good. If you make them feel bad by discussing bad behavior, shaming, blaming, and bullying is what I call that. You deal with bad behavior, but you don't discuss it. Once they understand it's bad behavior, just stop talking about it. So if you make them feel good, they'll do good. If you make them feel bad, they do bad. Everyone's like that. Adults, kids, everybody's like that. Don't shame your children. You're going to get the worst out of them, understandably. If you shame me, you're going to get the worst out of me too. So it's just not a way to go. Everyone wants to discuss bad behavior with their kids. I think it's revenge on your part or something. I don't quite understand that. I'm like, you should know better. Stuff like that. It's so nasty. You should know better. What a patronizing thing to say. Could you imagine if you were late and a friend said to you, you should know better? Like, think about it. It's mean. It's mean. So, yeah. Okay. 17-year-old ran away and refuses to come home. And the sheriff said she's breaking no law. Well, I don't know about that. You'd have to hire me for that. And I'm not even sure I could deal with that if she's not breaking the law and if you have no leverage. Yeah, I don't know. You might want to look into coaching if you think I could help you. I teach parent-child relationships. I do specialize in teenagers. But if you have no leverage, if she doesn't need you for money or a home or anything, and if legally, I couldn't help you. Okay. My goal is always your relationship. That's what I start with. I don't start with the behavior. Whenever people hire me and they have teenagers, they want to start with the behavior that they want to correct. I don't do that. I help you connect with your teenager, and then their behavior will improve when your relationship improves. That's basically what we do. So it's a slow burn. Takes a while. Does not happen overnight. Okay, so I'm just waiting for your questions. Tabitha on YouTube. I'm on YouTube at the same time, by the way. Whenever I'm doing a live, I save them all on YouTube. So Tabitha said, I'm breastfeeding and playing with stickers with my toddler, 3 months and 22 months. You've helped me so much. Thanks a ton for making parenting more fun. Excellent. That's my goal, is I want to make parenting more fun. I want you to enjoy parenting as much as I did. And it was funny. I was looking after my granddaughter all day yesterday, and my daughter, it's my son's child, and my daughter and her husband came by for a visit. And my daughter later said, "You're so in your element, aren't you?" And then she goes, "You're so in your element." And she goes, "Well, I guess that's why you teach what you teach." Like, I love mothering. I just love it. Absolutely. I just feel like I'm home when I got a kid in my lap, and that's my thing. I just love it. That's when I feel like I don't know how to explain it. I guess that's when I feel like I'm at my best, is when I'm looking after a kid. That's when I'm really comfortable. So I love it. Grandson tantrums for 1 to 2 hours. Daughter tries to, but he'll come. Oh, you didn't put an age, so I can't answer that. I don't know. Anyway. And also don't just put an age in there, because I can't always go back, and you have to put the whole question again plus the age. We haven't got that. We've only got about 50 people here. So, but if it gets really busy, I can't get to all the questions usually. How do you get a child to listen? You set yourself up as a leader. They don't listen because you're not a leader. They don't respect you. You got to earn respect, and then they listen. Do you understand that? It's not them, it's you. Their behaviors they don't listen because you're not a leader. You work on yourself, not them. You lead, they will follow. It's just automatic. You lead, they will follow. You're not a leader, they don't respect you. That's why they're not listening to you. You got to earn that. It's not them, it's you. Their behavior between the ages of 3 and 12 years old is a direct result of your parenting. That's all it is. It's you. When I was working with kids, even teenagers, if they acted out under my care, I was a behavioral mentor, just volunteering for many, many, many years. And whenever they'd act out, when I was getting to know them and they were testing me, and I always thought, what am I missing here? If they acted out, I always look to myself. That's what a leader does. Okay, I'm not a leader in my personal adult life. I'm only a leader with kids and teenagers. There's a difference. And even with teenagers, it's more, you want them to be leaders, but you want to guide them into making good choices, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. Okay. My 7-year-old granddaughter's out of control and has laying down time. Yeah. I can't help you with grandchildren because that's not your kids, but basically you can tell the parent, or I don't even know about that. I never want anyone to recommend me to someone else because it could be an insult. It would be like recommending a diet to someone who's overweight. Like you don't want to get someone defensive and hurt their feelings. So yeah, I can't really help you. I don't teach grandparenting. I teach parenting only. Yeah, because they're not your kids. Okay. What are appropriate consequences for a 2.5-year-old who just hits people and throws? Okay. 2.5-year-old is still a toddler. A toddler to me is about 16 to 35 months old. 3 years old, the behavior board starts. It's completely free on my website, BratBusters.com. Under that, you use consistent corrective actions. You take away something fun or remove them from the fun right in the moment. It's got to be fast, though. They got to connect what they just did to the action that you take. And you don't discuss it. These many therapy sessions discussing their bad behavior, it's total crap. I don't know I don't know anyone else out there who's teaching parenting. I stay away from that. I'm very careful because if I'm insulting anything, I'm not insulting anyone, right? So, but yeah, these many therapy sessions discussing what they should and shouldn't do and all this garbage, it's absolute crap. It's crap. It's consequences that teach all of us, even as adults. Could you imagine the tax department having a lecture with us on why we should pay taxes? No, we pay taxes because we're going to be fined and go to jail if we don't. It's the consequences that make us do things in life. If we don't pay our mortgage or our rent, we'll get kicked out of our home. You see, it's the consequences. People don't sit down and discuss why you should pay your rent. They just kick you out if you don't. You see, it's the consequences, not the mini therapy sessions. I don't know why people do that with kids. It just amazes me. Well, who's teaching this stuff? Yeah, you point out, okay, that was bad. Here's your consequence. And then move on. Move on. That's the pool story. Check that out. The pool story, just Google BratBusters pool story. It'll come up. It sums up how I teach, basically. I deal with bad behavior, but then I focus on the good kid. My goal is always that kids like themselves when they're with me. Therefore, I bring out the best in them. That's all I do here. I don't discuss bad behavior. I deal with it. I don't discuss it. That's just mean. It's bullying, berating, and shaming. Doesn't work. You know you shouldn't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you? It's just bullying. It's nasty. You know better. You know better. In other words, you're an idiot. That's what you're saying. It's nasty. Okay. I think I've made my point. I should shut up. I get very passionate about this stuff. I don't have a filter either, so says what I'm thinking. Okay, I don't know where you're from. You've got that Arabic or something. I've got clients all over the world, yeah, it's quite fascinating. I've learned so much about how households are run. You can travel to different countries, but I get the inside scoop on how households run in different countries. It's quite fascinating. So I have to respect different cultures, religions, the way people treat their elders is if they live with them, especially, it's quite different. So yeah, I love it. Oh, thanks so much, Brittany. I'm helping. Listen, if you can get help just by listening to the videos or listening to the podcast, I'm thrilled because most of what we do, most of our time is spent putting out free stuff. That's not true. Most of my time is spent coaching. But anyway, it's like putting out all this free content because if we're making a difference in your life, how satisfying is that, eh? To be in a job where you're actually helping people and making them happier. Very, very rewarding. Oh, my daughter works with me. So when I say we, I mean my daughter and I. She does all the social media, all the marketing, all the planning for the business. And our jobs don't cross over at all. The only thing we ever do together is the podcast. And she basically tells me what we're doing. So. Okay, what do you do if you remove the child from the fun, but they keep going back to it? So this is a toddler or a 3-year-old. If it's a 3-year-old, you put on the board the behavior and go from there. But you can get the free behavior board on my website, BratBusters.com. And it also has a toddler section on there, by the way. It's a mini course. The free behavior board is a mini course, and it has a toddler section too. So which they're not on the behavior board. So you can check that out. But if they keep going back to the fun, just hold them back. You can physically restrain them for a few minutes or whatever. So yeah, just physically restrain them. Like if you're at the park or something, you just have to hold them. Okay, I'm just going to say this, and I hate this question because my answer is just so, I don't like it, but I have to say it. My 3-year-old keeps abusing our dog. How do I handle it? If you can't control your kid to not abuse your animal, rehome your pet. I love animals. If my kids had ever abused one of our animals and I couldn't control my child, I would literally have rehomed my pet. There's no way I would allow my animals to be abused. My kids knew you never pick up the dog, because what if they dropped her? And also they didn't run past the bird cage because I didn't want the bird to be startled. So, and they just knew. And if I couldn't control my kids, I would have rehomed my pets. And I love my pets, but yeah, I would not allow an animal to be abused in my home. Do you have a course about how to be a leader? Yeah, I've got 2 of them. One for toddlers, one for kids. I haven't got a teenage one yet. That would just be coaching. And I'm really sorry about the wait list for coaching. I just haven't had a chance to get to it. What keeps happening is existing clients, about 50% rehire and rehire. They want to keep working with me. So we don't always work all the time. Like we might work just maybe once a month. They might want to talk to me. So that's what's been happening a lot lately. That's why I haven't. So sorry if you're on the wait list. I'll get to you when I can. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, good, Elizabeth. When you talked about lecturing, ouch, that's me. Good. What I mean is, good, I'm making a difference, because think about it. How would you feel if you were pulled over by a police officer for speeding and he wanted to lecture you on why you shouldn't? You should know better. Why would you speed? Didn't you see that sign back there? Didn't you take a lesson? How long have you been driving? You see, we don't do that to adults. Why do we do that to kids? It's quite fascinating to me. Kids already know. They're not stupid. Parents will often tell me in the first session when I'm coaching them how brilliant their child is. They're gifted. They're just off the chart smart. And yet they keep lecturing them and discussing all the bad behavior. And they said, well, they didn't understand. So wait a minute. In the first session, they were gifted. They were brilliant. Now they're a moron. Like you have to keep explaining all the bad behavior to them. They know. They understand it. And if they don't, the consequences will teach them way faster than anything else. So don't do the shaming and blaming. And by the way, everybody does the best they know how. I'm just teaching you a better way. So it's not like you're trying to be mean. You just don't. It was probably done to you. See, my parents didn't do that to me. I was never yelled at, and I was never lectured and nagged, ever. So maybe that's part of why I never did it. I don't know. I'm a lot tougher than my parents were. They let me get away with a lot more. Even as a kid, I can remember thinking they shouldn't let me get away with this. I didn't like it. Kids don't like it. They want their parents to make them as nice as possible. I wasn't a mean kid by any means, but yeah, I got away with more than I should have. My dad spoiled me. And then my mom, he learned to say to my mom, if I said, Daddy, can I please have something? I always talk like that. I don't know what I sounded like in my head looking back. And Daddy, can I please have Daddy? Sure, sweetie pie, you can have anything you want. And then he learned to say, let's check with mom first. And I'd say, oh, never mind. Because mom was more the leader, right? Dad was the pleaser. Okay. Kids don't want to be rotten. They don't want to be spoiled. It makes them feel bad. It doesn't make them feel good. Give your kids high self-esteem. Give them pride. If they're acting out and they're being rude to you, where's their pride? Where's their self-esteem? It's in the toilet. You want them to feel good about themselves. When they feel good about themselves, they do good. When you feel good, you do good. When you feel bad, you do bad. Oh, and I'm just going to mention a couple things here. What should I point out? There's just a few points I like to hit on. Just sort of, what do they call that? Pillar content or something. Okay. I'm going to read out my top, in case you're new here. I say this every live, but in case you're new, these are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Now, toddlers to me are 16 to 35 months. You don't use a behavior board till they're 3, which is 36 months. See, I'm good at math, aren't I? Anyway, I call the toddler the discovery stage. They're just discovering everything. They're brand new. So these are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, childproof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3, you connect with a toddler in their world, not your world. You don't go to the nail salon with them. You go to the park and roll down the hill. Number 4, you discipline toddlers in their world. If they do something naughty, you have a consistent corrective action. They're not about words. They're about actions. You can just say a quick no and then take that item away or whatever, remove them from the fun or remove fun from them. They learn through repetition. You have to do it like 100 times before they learn. It's more of a knee-jerk kind of learning, knee-jerk reaction we're learning. It's like they'll touch a hot oven 10 times, but the 11th they might not. It's not a lot of thought process. It's more like just they get used to not touching it kind of thing. So that's why you need repetition with toddlers. And don't do the mini therapy sessions discussing all their big feelings and big emotions. That's absolute crap. It's garbage. Anyway, number 5, stop trying to figure them out. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in there. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years. In the first one of those years, you were a potato laying on a mattress. They're just forming. They're brand new. Okay, that's my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. So I'm just reading some of the comments here. Okay. Actually, I've got to move over to Instagram now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. Because what I do is I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where all my lives are saved. And I go from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. That goes my smallest platform, my middle one, and then TikTok's my biggest platform. So the other Instagram and TikTok get really busy usually during a live. Anyway, I got to get going. So thanks so much for joining me. Check out my website, BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and you can look into our podcast. My daughter and I work together and we do the podcast together. So we have a lot of fun doing it. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. And I'm going over to Instagram now. Bye now. So I know it's boring when I'm just pushing buttons here. So many. Am I on Instagram? I'll know pretty quick. I forgot. I was reading something that flashed up. So I got a message that flashed up. Okay. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Everyone turns up really fast. Like I've got like 100 people right away. Okay. So welcome to my live. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go to BratBusters.com, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and you can look into our podcast. It's called, what's it called? BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms. Anyway, it's going great. It's going great. My daughter and I do it together. We're having a blast. We have to edit out a lot of giggling because we're mother-daughter. We're also best friends and we work together. So you can imagine we know each other very, very well. So got a lot of giggles on that thing. Okay. Whenever someone asks my daughter, what's it like working for your mom? Anyone who knows us knows it's more the other way around. It is my business, but she's very much in charge of she's the driven one with business and she likes to organize and plan everything. She's very, very organized. And yeah, she's the one who kind of tells me what to do. Anyone who knows us knows that I'm a follower in my personal life and she's a leader. Now, the difference between from near old home in Brisbane. Hello, here is where we grow. Yeah, we're from, you might not even know where it is. It's Arana Hills, which is near Fernie Grove, which is at the end of the train station. They might have lengthened it by now. I don't know. We moved back to Canada in 2005. So it's been literally 20 years now. But I was there for about 20 years. So yeah, northwestern suburbs is where I lived. The name of the podcast is BratBusters Parenting Podcast, and it's on all the platforms. And it's going really well. I don't ever look at it, but my daughter tells me it's going well. What was one that we just did that was funny? I was going to mention something I forgot, just flipped out of my head. Never mind. Okay, so let's get going with your parenting questions. I will do the best to answer them. North Brisbane, that's where I'm from. Arana Hills, where are you from? Amanda Boyce. Oh, and not that Amanda is a client or either way, I wouldn't even mention this if she was. But if sometimes clients will come on these lives and say hi to me, I will never say hi back. The reason is I don't want to identify you as a client. Because sometimes clients will say, oh, Narangba. Sometimes clients will say hi to me and they'll say, well, you didn't say hi back. And I say, well, I didn't want to identify that I knew you, right? So, okay. Don't know where Narang Bub is exactly. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. I used to do these lives every single day for, I think, about a year and a half. I did them every single day. I mean, Deception Bay, Neighbors. Oh, excellent. We used to go up there in Red Cliff. The beaches up there. One time, Deception Bay and Red Cliff, it's sort of an area in Brisbane, and it's like, it's got the flats where the water goes out and it's really shallow. It's kind of like White Rock and Crescent Beach here in Vancouver, if you know that. You can walk out for miles, like it's really, really flat. Anyway, I didn't know. I was always afraid of the Australian Ocean because I'm originally from Canada. And I remember I had one of my kids or maybe both my kids with me, and we were walking way out in the flats. And I noticed the tide started coming in, like went up to our ankles. I panicked and we started running. And I said, quick, the tide's coming in. So we ran to got to shore. It was like 2 hours later before it ever reached the shore. I was terrified the water was going to come in. What a dope. Okay. Love to know your approach to toilet training. I use it as an incentive program. I have a whole course on it. It's in both of my boot camp courses. So you'd have to buy it to get the whole system. But basically it goes like this. I did a party and I trained my kids over a weekend. If there was a mess, I cleaned it up. I never ever discipline around potty stuff, around bodily functions, right? So if they sat on the toilet for 30 seconds, they got 1 chocolate chip. If they peed, they got 2. If they pooped, they got 3. That's how it went, basically. And I put them on the potty every 30 minutes. And I also had a little potty out in the kitchen, and I kept them in just a floor area because there was no diapers on them, no pull-ups, no night diapers, nothing. I trained my son in 1 day and my daughter in 2 days. Mind you, I was already a leader. I did it when they were 2.5. I was already a leader, so it was very quick with me because they knew what I said I kind of meant, and I was going to follow through with it. I was very consistent. So that's why it went so fast. But some of my parents are doing it over a weekend like I did. So it's another good way to get your leadership. It's another good way to exercise leadership. Oh, 20 minutes from Arana Hills. Oh, okay. I'm going to look it up right now. I'm curious. I still miss Australia. So I've never been back. I'm not a person that likes to travel. I like to live in different places, but I don't like traveling. Oh, you're near Burpengary. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You're right near Burpengary. We used to go up the coast a lot. Twin Waters, we used to go up there for Christmas a lot. Okay. So anyway, that's the potty training, basically. It is a whole system. But then there's no negativity attached to it. If they have an accident, like if my kids peed on the floor because they're just wearing underwear, they peed on the floor, I'd say, oh, mommy pees on the floor sometimes too. Like just make light of it, clean it up, and just keep going. And then bring a potty with you wherever you go. Like I would still put them on the potty when we were traveling, like just going to the mall even. I would pull out that little potty and on the side of the road if I thought they had to go. I'll tell you a funny story. My son had just been potty trained. He was 2.5 years old. And we were at the checkout at the supermarket. And I was doing the weekly groceries. So I had the whole trolley was full of groceries. So anyway, we're at the checkout. And he says to me, now he had no diaper on because once I take the diapers away, they're never going back. He just had underpants on. No pull-ups, nothing. So anyway, he says, I have to go poo. And I instantly went, oh my God, because, they don't give you a lot of notice when they're that age. And the checkout woman, we looked at each other. We just got that eye. She was obviously a mother too. We just got that eye contact and she said, I'll do all your groceries, just go. And now in Australia, the supermarkets are not freestanding like they are here in North America. They are inside of a mall. So you have to go into the mall to get to the supermarket. So anyway, why I'm telling you this is because the bathroom was not inside the supermarket. It was at the other end of the mall. And I had to run with this kid. I ran with him to the bathroom, to the other end of the mall. It was actually Kmart Plaza in Arana Hills, if anyone knows where that is. I don't know what's there now, but anyway. And ran in and I got him. And I don't like my kids. They were so little. I don't want them sitting on a public toilet, touching it or anything. So I literally ripped down his pants and hung him over the toilet and he pooped right away. Whoa, that was a really close call, but I did it. And then I went back and the checkout lady, they had it all bagged up for me and everything. They were just fantastic. So, and then I just paid for my groceries and went home. So, Mom feeling like not good enough all the time. That well, then do something about it. If you're not feeling good enough and you're feeling guilty, just say, well, I'm doing the best I knew how. I'm going to get better. So work, just keep watching my videos. You want to learn how to be better at what you do if you're not feeling good about something. Like if I don't feel good about my body, I hustle myself to the gym. You know what I mean? You got to take action. Don't just sit around, feel sorry for yourself. I know a lot of parents do this. I just don't know what to do. I'm teaching you what to do. You can check out my free behavior board, listen to the podcast, whatever. Whenever someone hires me, coaching costs a lot of money. Like in my estimation, it's a lot of money. We don't discuss the guilt. I don't get into all that because I say, you do not want to waste your time telling me how bad you feel about yourself. Let's make you feel good. And then if you still want to talk about what you were doing wrong, we can do that. We do have to get into some of that, but a therapist talks about the past. I talk about the future. I want to get results. So if you're feeling bad about your parenting, you're feeling guilty about not being a good enough parent, then just learn how to be a better parent. That's all I'm about here. If you're not good at something, learn how to get better at it also. This is important too. And I tend to do this too with business, right? I overload myself with advice from a million different places. Half of them contradict each other because one path does not suit everybody. You pick a path you think might suit you. I tend to follow people that make sense to me. They might not be as successful as someone bigger, whatever, but it suits me better. So not everything that works for someone else is going to work for you. If I resonate with you, don't follow anybody else for a while. Just follow me. If you hate me, don't even look at me again. Go to someone else that resonates with you. You're not going to do what I tell you if you can't stand me, if I get on your nerves. You're not going to do, or if it doesn't make sense to you. Do not mix up different parenting methods because we all have like a system, a path, a method that is meant to go together. If you were to pick and choose what you like from different parenting experts, it wouldn't work. It's like dieting. You don't go to 3 different diet centers and expect to get results, do you? You don't just pick and choose what you like from each one. It's a whole methodology. What I teach leadership. Okay, I invented all this stuff. I call it calm leadership. So you're calm during the storms and crazy during the rainbows. Calm during the storms means when you're disciplining. You're calm as anything. And then when you're playing with your kids, you can be crazy. So that's what I teach. So, but yeah, just follow. If you like what I'm saying, just follow me. Nobody else. Okay. You don't want to mix. You don't put time out with my method. I hate time out. I think it's mean. I think it's horrible. So don't start mixing different parents. Well, I like this and I like that from her and that, but it's never going to work. Okay. Okay. My 18-month-old daughter keeps banging her head when she's upset. How would I stop? You don't stop her from doing that. You prevent her from being injured. She's going to try doing it. You know, if you can't prevent it, like you go over when you see she's upset, you go over and you hold her to make sure she doesn't bang her head. That's basically how that goes. But if you can't get to her every single time, or you don't have the time to just keep intervening, then you get her one of those foam helmets. Now, I'm not a doctor. I can't recommend it, but a lot of my clients have tried it and it's worked really well. They hate getting that foam helmet. It's made for kids with disabilities that do tend to have seizures and that. You can just look it up. Lots of my clients have tried it and they say they hate that thing. If they see it coming, they'll stop harming themselves because they hate having that helmet put on. So yeah, they will eventually connect the dots between that helmet means banging my head, the helmet goes on. If I don't bang my head, the helmet won't go on. So you can give that a go, but it's a slow burn. They're only 18 months old. They're going to do what they're going to do. How do you keep calm when times are absolutely crazy? It's on the inside you can be going nuts, but on the outside you can't show it. So if you show anger or being upset and being flustered, they're going to walk all over you. You just got to fake it till you make it. That's the biggest challenge is in coaching. Well, it isn't. I deal with crisis work, but other than that, it's, well, how do I get over my own emotions? The kids are driving me nuts. I'm like, well, that is your challenge here. The thing is, once you start getting results, it gets easier to do. So you go, hey, this is working. And then you start to feel more empowered and calm. It's the feeling of a loss of control is what upsets you. Once you have a plan and you know it's going to work, you tend to calm down. So just have faith. This stuff works. I've done this for 50 years, more than that. And I've never changed my methods in 53 years, since I first started volunteering in daycare centers 53 years ago. My methods haven't changed. I know how to bring out the best in kids. I was always good at it. So that's all I teach here is how to bring out the best in kids by making them feel good. How to get your child to no longer fear pooping on the potty. That's a really common one, especially for boys. I have my theory on why it's more boys. It can be girls too, but it's more often boys. They don't want to poop on the potty or on the toilet. The reason is there's 3 reasons why they don't like it. Not all, this is just generally. One is plop phobia. They might have been splashed back, right? That's one. The other one is hanging phobia. They don't like the feeling of that hanging feeling when the poop's hanging out of them and pulling on their rectum. Sorry about this. You're all parents. You can handle it. And the third one is cold. They maybe just don't like a cold bum. They'd rather poop in their pants because it's nice and warm. It's all smashed up and there's no splashback. Pardon me. I just swallowed a bug. Oh, geez. Did I just inhale a bug? I think I did. Okay, gross. Anyway, let's keep going. Well, plus I'm vegan, so I don't want to eat meat. Okay, that's not why it's gross. Anyway. Yeah, I think I swallowed a bug. Sorry. Let me recover from that. The other month, it was a few months ago now, actually. I woke up in the morning and I found in the middle of the night, I woke up going like this. I felt something crawling. And in the morning when I woke up, I found a spider on my pillow with 7 legs. Yeah, that's like if you bite into an apple and you find a worm, that's okay. But if you see half a worm, that's a problem. So it reminded me of that. Anyway, here's what you do if they don't want to poop on the potty. You say, okay, so what we're going to do is there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can say, we're going to put a bunch of toilet paper in the toilet so there's no splashing. So they'll understand that often, or if not, then you just use the little porta potty. And and then you put toilet paper in the bottom so they have something touching their bum, because if they're used to pooping in a diaper, they're used to something touching their bum, right? So you put that there, and then you might want to hike up the heat in the bathroom. So they're sitting on a porta potty. Then they've got the toilet paper in there touching their bum, and hike the heat up, or you can even just put an Afghan around them or something while they're sitting there. You can give it a go. Okay. Gee, I'm kind of thrown off by that bug thing. Actually, I don't mind bugs. I'm just not big on eating them. I was always the spider catcher. They don't bother me, but I don't like eating them. Okay. So I'm just scrolling ahead to make sure you're still here while I answer your questions. Someone said amends, and then they ask, there must have been something else. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to make up my own question around this is like, what do you mean by amends? What are amends? That's the consequences, basically. So on my behavior board, I have rules and consequences for every member of the family past like 3 and older. And the consequences are basically making amends for doing something wrong. But anyway, this is quite interesting. I find the words I'm sorry are so overused. They're given way too much weight, and they don't really teach anybody anything. They just teach you can kill someone, just say you're sorry, and that's the end of it. It's almost gotten to that point. The words I'm sorry are given so much like, oh, well, he has remorse. I don't give a crap if you've got remorse. Just don't keep doing it. Like, I don't care about intentions. I just care about actions. People will say, well, I didn't mean it. I meant well. That's a bunch of crap. That's passive aggressive excuses. So, well, I didn't mean it. And so you should just go by my intentions. No, people only care how you treat them, not what you say you were thinking about how you should treat them. Right? You get what I'm saying with that? I'm kind of going on a bit. But anyway, this is for adults. This isn't for kids. With kids, you have a rule and a consequence on the board. And same with adults, rule and a consequence. But between adults, and also it's sort of with teenagers too, as they get older, like I would never use a behavior board. So here's what I do. If you do something wrong, as an adult, let's say you do something wrong, you're late, okay? And you're a serial late person. So, and which I think is really rude, but anyway. So in other words, your time means something, but nobody else's does. So anyway, here's the 4 steps to a good apology. And no one seems to get this. It's amazing to me. If people will just say, sorry, and then you're supposed to go, that's okay. I never say that. If someone wrongs me and they say, I'm sorry, I just say, okay. Like I'm waiting for what should be coming next. Here's the next part. There's 4 steps to a proper and a respectful apology. Say you're sorry just to start the ball rolling. I don't care about those words. They're just empty words to me. So say you're sorry. The second step is take full responsibility. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I messed up. Don't blame me for your whatever you did. Okay. So take full responsibility. The third step is make amends. What can I do to make it up to you? How about I buy dessert or something tonight if you go out with a friend and they're late? How about you buy dessert or whatever? And then the fourth step is don't keep doing it. So if you keep doing the same thing again, your apology meant nothing. So it's just about respecting other people. That's how you make amends with people, is if you say, sorry, it was all my fault. What can I do to make it up to you? Offer something if they don't come up with it, and then don't keep doing the same thing again. That's kind of what we're teaching kids too. We just use a behavior board to teach that to them. It's about being accountable and respecting other people. But you got to earn respect. Like I wouldn't expect someone to not do me wrong if I was doing them wrong. Do you know what I mean? I don't do marriage counseling, obviously. That's not what I do. But I do a lot of it in coaching. A lot of it. Because I have to get parents on the same page. So, yeah. If your marital problems have to do with parenting, I can help you. Yeah. It comes up a lot. What if the other party also needs to be sorry? You can only account for yourself. Just do what you need to do. Also, this is quite interesting. You can never change anybody else. You can only change yourself. And I come to you fully formed. Basically, what I mean by that is if the other person is always doing you wrong, are they the right person to have in your life? Do you know what I mean? Like you can't change adults. They're already formed. So, but yeah, with kids, you can teach them how to respect other people. But I get this a lot. Like, what do I do if they keep hurting me? Well, if it's a partner, kind of toss them. They're already formed. And it's other people's actions are not your responsibility. There's this old saying out there, you have to teach people how to treat you. What a pile of crap. Your behavior toward me is not my responsibility. That's yours. Yeah, it's not my job to teach you how to treat me well. It's fascinating to me how people have such low self-esteem and don't respect themselves enough to understand that. With adults, if people are treating you poorly, it's them. It's not your job. That's not your job. That's a whole other conversation. I'm old. I've learned all this stuff over the years. You got to put an age or I can't answer questions. Oh, sometimes I get people asking to come on the video. I never do that. I did it once a couple of years ago and they just tried to sell their stuff. People want my audience. I've got a couple million followers on my platform, across my platforms. They want my audience. So I let them on the live and they were just trying to sell stuff. And I was brand new at it and I couldn't get rid of them. Oh, it was a disaster. Okay. This is Kyra Lanting on YouTube. I've been watching for 2 weeks. You've changed my viewpoint on parenting. My toddler's responding very well to your methods. Thanks so much for everything you're putting out there. Well, I always say, I just tell you what to do. You're the ones who do all the work. So good for you. It means you're doing it. Good for you. And consistency is so important with kids. People will say to me all the time, but I was really good for like 3 weeks. And then I just lightened up. No, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. The thing is, once you're a leader, then you can relax and have exceptions. But I still would not put up with crap with kids. But I'm very consistent. So my kids knew 100% of what I would do. I was so predictable. They just knew 100% of the time what I was going to do. There was no question, no question. Whereas if they'd done something snotty or anything, you know what I mean? They knew I would do something. So, okay. Okay, you've got a 3-year-old that's hitting and throwing things. Put down no. Yeah, you can put both. No hitting or throwing things because they're both sort of in the aggressive or violent department. So put on the behavior board, no hitting or throwing things. And just have a consequence for that. Check out the free behavior board. It's on my website, BratBusters.com. It explains how to do all that, okay? When is the updated 3 to 12 course coming out? I should see my schedule. It's I'm the one that's holding it up. It's filming all the videos. The information will still be the same. There'll just be more stories thrown in, and it'll just be but it's all the same information basically. And that's the interesting thing is while I'm going through it and filming all these new videos, it's the same information. I'm just throwing in the odd little thing, but it's going to be virtually the same thing. Just be a little bit more flashy looking maybe, okay? And maybe some more stories thrown in. I don't understand this, and I think this is really unreasonable. How to get them, well, for one thing, you didn't tell me the ages, so I don't know what you're talking about here. How to get them to stay in their own bubble for 5 minutes when poor mama needs the space. So in other words, how to get a young child to put your needs first? Good luck with that. I don't know what you mean by that. I know how to get you space, but I don't know if you're a leader or if you just sort of expect them to respect your own. I think your expectations are out of whack, especially if they're little. Okay. Oops. Time's running. Oh, I got to go. Oh, shoot. Okay. I have to go. Anyway, I'm hopping over to TikTok now if you want to join me over there. And I am on YouTube the whole time. If you want to join me over there, I meant. Anyway, my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go to my website, BratBusters.com, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, or you can look into the podcast. I would like to apologize. Coaching has just become, I haven't taken on a new client in a while now. So I've just been really busy. What's happening is current clients have been rehiring me. And they always take precedence. So I'm really sorry about that. I'll get to you eventually, but yeah, by the way, if you are in crisis with coaching, and I mean life and death, teenage stuff, I specialize in all that crisis work. If you are in crisis, send me a separate email because I haven't even had a chance to look at the intake form for coaching. So, but yeah, I will definitely make you a priority if you are in life and death crisis work, stuff with your teenager especially, or any child who's been abused or something like that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'm hopping over to TikTok with BratBusters Parenting. You can join me over there, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. Bye now.
Here's my number one tip for making money.
Okay, is that the right? Yeah, okay. I have a couple of TikTok accounts, so I always worry about going on the wrong one. I've done that before. Okay. Sorry, I just always take a break between Instagram and TikTok because my voice starts to get a bit sore. Hello, just waiting for people to turn up. Let me see. Okay, I'm on TikTok and YouTube. I haven't been doing lives lately. I just haven't had time. But yeah, I miss doing them. I love doing lives. But the podcast has sort of taken over because we do a lot of filming. We only do 2 a week, but we film probably 4 a week. And we only pick the strongest ones. Sometimes we'll go, yeah, we were giggling too much, or that one was kind of boring. Yeah, if we start yawning during filming, we chuck it. Because we try to make it entertaining too. My daughter and I, we work together. She organizes all that. And I never know what we're going to be talking about. Total surprise. I don't like planning anything out. I don't work very well that way. I like to be put on the spot. And that's what she's there for. She puts me on the spot. Okay. Oh, you asked about some medical thing. I'm just a parenting coach. I have no medical training, so I can't discuss that. I can't discuss nutrition or anything medical. Yeah. Not my wheelhouse. Wouldn't have a clue. Okay, so I'm just waiting for people to turn up. That's enough. Okay, we'll just get going. My name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go to my website, BratBusters.com, you can see my free behavior board, what else have I got? Yeah, courses, coaching, and you can look into our podcast. BratBusters Parenting podcast is on all the platforms, and it's going very well. We're having a blast doing it. My daughter and I work together, and we film the podcast together. She does not like being in front of the camera. It's not her thing, but she said, Mom, someone has to be feeding you the questions. So, and I want to start a podcast with the business. So she does it with me. I'm shocked. She's doing really well. She likes the behind the scenes. I don't. I like being in front of the camera. I like the talking part. Well, because it is my information. Thanks for keeping it real. I don't know any other way. I don't have a phony bone in my body. Never have. I have no filter. What you see is what you get. I always kind of feel sorry for people who are fake and phony because they don't feel good enough being who they are. I always felt sorry for them. Isn't that interesting? Think about it. If anyone's fake and phony, that means they have no confidence in who they really are. Yeah. So yeah, I always had a lot of confidence. I'll be honest. Mom said you were just born with that. Okay, I'm going to read something out. Something with toddlers is a lot of parents, they want to do these mini therapy sessions discussing what they should and shouldn't do. It's not a lack of understanding. It's a lack of control. And they understand right from wrong. They just can't control themselves. It's the actions that help them to control themselves. Repetition, repetition. That's why we use consistent corrective actions under the age of 3. We don't use the behavior board. And even the behavior board, kids don't do wrong because they don't understand. They do it because they lack control or there's not a good enough reason not to. Does that make sense? Right? So quit with these mini therapy sessions. They don't help anybody. They're garbage. It's absolute crap. I say that all the time. I'm such a broken record. It's crap. It's absolute crap. It is. Discussing bad behavior is a total waste of time, and it's also shaming and blaming, and it makes them feel worse. Why would you want to do that to your kids? Okay. My daughter's 5. I'm having such a hard time getting her to go to sleep. Consequences don't work. Yeah, I don't use, well, I don't know what you said I'm having a hard time getting her to go to sleep. Are you having a hard time getting her to stay in bed? So getting her to go to sleep is a different issue. Is she still napping during the day? Maybe she's not that tired. Anyway, you might want to check out my course, the 3 to 12-year-old boot camp course. It has a whole bedtime routine in there. Basically, it's once you say lights out, there's 2 parts. Do the bedtime routine, which is bath, get her ready, all that stuff. Then lights out at 8 or whatever time you want her to go to sleep. And then every time she gets out of bed, you walk her back to bed. Every single time. The first 2 times you can say something. The first time I said stay in bed, don't get up again. Second time you just say one word, bedtime, and you walk her back to bed. Every time after that, don't look at her, talk to her, just walk her back to bed. Calmly, quietly, walk her back to bed. It is by far the most successful of everything I teach is bedtime battles. It's ugly though. It's usually one night of hell. But it's the most successful thing of everything I teach. I would say one of the least, but about all the common things I teach. I mean, I deal with crisis work, so I deal with a lot of different stuff. But the most difficult one that's common is mealtime. I hate doing mealtime stuff because it's slow. It's we got to be very careful how we do it too, because we're dealing with food here. We're dealing with a necessity. Bedtime's very straightforward. Mealtime's harder. So the reason why I don't like working with it is because I know it's more of a slow burn kind of method. Bedtime battles is often one night. But yeah, and I like the quicker results, the better, obviously. What if okay, good one, Kelly. What if they just won't stop screaming, breaking down, won't calm down when you try to put them to bed? That is the goal. That is the lesson. Doesn't matter how hysterical they are. You are calm. You're walking slow. You're not looking at them or talking to them. You're just calmly putting them back to bed. Allow them to process that they're not going to be in charge anymore at bedtime. They will go berserk, and that's okay. As long as you know they're alive, they're not having a seizure or anything. You know what I'm saying? If they're just getting upset and mad because all of a sudden they can't manipulate you anymore. When you say bedtime, you actually mean it. Yeah, just keep following through. It's usually one night of hell. The longest I ever heard of, this was an older kid. I can't remember his age, 6 or 7 or 8 or something. He went till 5 in the morning. He was totally in charge of his parents. He was totally out of control. Once we sorted out bedtime, it was only one night of sheer hell. He never got up again after that. And everything else got easier. In other words, the parents mastered bedtime and everything else got easier. And that kid had been out of control for years. So, but yeah, so they learn. And then they get a good night's sleep. So, oh, and they'll do anything to pull you in. Nobody loves me. I need a hug. I need, oh, God, all that manipulative stuff. That's not love, by the way. That's pure manipulation. If they're mad that they're not getting their own way and they can't manipulate you, they'll pull out all the stuff. Nobody loves me. I hate me. Everybody hates me. They're just fishing. They're trying to pull you in. If you get pulled in, they can fish hook you like that, it's over. They're in charge and they know it. was funny. I was at the park yesterday. I had my granddaughter all day yesterday, and she's 15 months old. So I found this great park, and they have this flying fox. I couldn't figure, the thing that I don't know what they're called. In Australia, they're called a flying fox. You sit on it, and it's on a zip line, and you go flying. Anyway, they had a flying fox. I couldn't figure out how to do it with her, so I couldn't do it. Because I'm goofy, right? So I'm 64, but I'm still a big kid. So anyway, I went on this slide with her and going down the slide. And I was just thinking, lean back. Because if you lean forward and if the slide zips up too much. So I was, this little kid said, look at that old lady going down the slide. And I was just cracking up. My granddaughter didn't know what was going on, but I was having a blast with her. But it's fun. Look at that old lady going down the slide. That's me. Is it the same bedtime process for an almost 2 or 3-year-old? Not so much an almost 2-year-old. It could be close. So long as they can get out of bed, it is basically. If they're in a crib, it's a little bit different. But if they need to be able to get out of bed for you to keep walking them back. But you go slow because it's going to have to keep doing it. And they're going to get hysterical. They're all wound up. They're like spinning. Their head is spinning. There's green stuff coming out of their mouth. And you know what I mean? Like they're just going nuts. That is them. That's not you. Don't get pulled into that stuff. That is their manipulation. That is their last-ditch attempt to control you. That's all it is. Parents get pulled into that all the time. But you should have seen them. They were so upset. Yeah, what's your point? Are you leading or are you following? You act and let them react to you because you're the leader. Quit reacting to that stuff. The only reason they do that, my kids wouldn't have gone that far because they knew it would never have worked. That you've taught them to do that. Because they figure if they push hard enough and they act crazy enough, they're going to get what they want. They're going to manipulate you. They're going to be in charge. You've taught them that. It's a learned behavior. They don't come out of the womb like that. How do you become unfish hooked? You got to decipher between needs and wants. Basically, most discipline is around wants. Like they get upset when they want something they can't have. You meet their needs, though. Meet their needs and manage their wants. So their needs are, they need to have fun, by the way. Fun is one of their needs. I play hard with kids. I'm very goofy. I just said I was at the park with my 15-month-old granddaughter. I'm doing everything with her. I mean, I'm not sitting back watching. There was a couple other grandparents there, too, and they were sitting on the bench. There's me going down the slide. So, yeah, I get into it. I get right into it. So that is one of their needs is fun. You learn how to connect with kids through fun, and you kind of got them. Like they just look at you differently. Okay, so when you play in their world. So also meet their needs, and that's all the food, the water, so you meet all their needs, and then you manage their wants. They will use any form of manipulation to get what they want if they're used to you giving in. So they'll just pull out all the stops. What do you do when there's a strong parental preference, like they want mom and not dad or vice versa, and the kid's 2.5? I'll tell you, both my kids tried that. It was during bath time, and dad was giving them a bath, and I'm in the family room, and I'm listening. Well, I'm not really listening, but I know they're there. So anyway, he's giving them a bath, and one of them said, I want mom. And I yelled out from the family room, well, you're stuck with dad, so deal with it. Like, in other words, I'm not going to buy into that. And then I heard him. It was another night, my husband at the time, and he said, the kid said, I want mom. And he said, well, you're stuck with me, so deal with it. They are funny. They had a good dad. He knows how to give them a bath. It's not exactly the way mom might do it, but that's okay. So yeah, don't buy into that. Yeah, they learned. They learned. Oh, you asked about your boyfriend's kid. I don't give any advice other than to the parent, so I can't comment on that. The reason is I only teach parenting. So if I were to give you advice and the parent didn't like it, see what I'm saying? I don't teach you how to handle other people's kids. Nope. This is funny. Toddler yelling no all the time. What's your question? So? What difference does it make? It must bug you, or else they wouldn't do it. It's like when they say mine. What do we do when they say mine? So you say, give me the remote control, and they say mine, you just take it. What if they say no or mine? What's your point? Like, just take it. Is it possible to have one-on-one coaching with you? I do coaching. I virtually in the last 6 months doubled my prices, hoping to keep the wait list down, but it's just growing and growing. So it's a big wait list for coaching right now. You really, even if you're going to get on that wait list, really make sure that you want to do it, because it's expensive and it's intense. I'm there to get your results. So if you're not ready for the work, yeah. So you can do one-on-one coaching, but there's a big wait list. It probably would be a month or two maybe before I can get to everybody. Anyway. I always say I don't need to coach anymore, but I love it. It's my favorite thing in my business is coaching. I don't know if I could ever give it up. I love it. I get very attached. I mother all my clients. Get really attached to my clients, and I love it. So yeah, I don't know if I could ever give it up. We talk about it in the business because my time, we could be making a lot more money if my time was spent on other things. And, but yeah, coaching is my first love in my business because I'm mothering. I get to mother all these parents, right? So mothering is my thing. So you get to know them, and I absolutely love it. Okay. When should discipline start? What should we do before discipline starts when behavior is wrong? Well, I'll tell you what I did with my granddaughter. Gosh, she's an easy little kid so far. I mean, she's only 15 months, but super easy. But just such a little thing. And I thought it was interesting. There was another mom there with a kid, and we dealt with it very differently. My granddaughter is 15 months old, and we were at the library, and just the two of us, and she went for there's all these cardboard books for her age. She sort of toddled over to the bigger books that weren't for her. So I didn't use the word no. What I did was I started pulling out cardboard books and I redirected. So because it's not bad behavior, she doesn't know. She's just a baby, right? So, but I redirected, and I make what I want her to go towards a lot of fun. So I'm like, ooh, what's this? And she just toddled over to what I was doing. So, but yeah, so I redirect. And I really sell what I want them to do. Like, ooh, look at this book. Because I don't want to say no to a little baby. I just don't tend to do that. So, so I redirect. Oh, what's this book? Oh, and she's like, yippee, what's that book? Darn, she's cute. Just so freaking cute. You can just gobble her up. She's just adorable. Okay. I binge listened to all your podcasts, especially first 2 weeks of being a leader was hard, but worth it. Yeah, it is hard. I never said this was easy, but it's like anything that's worthwhile. It is hard work because you're changing a lot of yourself. By the way, I want to point out, I'm a really good leader with kids. Always came naturally to me. And from the time I was a kid, I was leading kids, was mothering kids. It just came naturally to me. But it doesn't have to come naturally to you. Anyone can learn how to do this. Okay. And I'm not a leader in my personal life at all. I'm a follower, very much so. I hate leading. God, I hate it. In my adult world, in my inner circle, I'm a follower. You put me and someone else who's also a follower together on a street corner, and we'll be there an hour later. Neither one of us will make a decision. It's useless. I want someone to tell me where to go, what to wear, what to eat when I'm there. Like, I have no interest in leading in my personal life. My daughter does. She's very good at it. By the way, there's a difference between a leader and a bossy person. A bossy person bosses people around to get what they want. It's all me, selfish, right? They're narcissists. It's the bossy person. A leader does what's best for everybody. And they often put their own needs secondary. So my daughter is a wonderful leader. And, but yeah, I'm a follower. My point in saying all this is that you don't have to be a leader in your personal life to be a leader with children. The thing is, I love kids. It's my favorite thing is like kids. And mothering was my favorite thing I ever did. I just loved it. And, but I know how to get the best out of kids. I know how to make them feel good about themselves. I know how to connect with kids, and it's leadership. So I just get that pesky leadership cemented early on, and then I can just relax and be buddies and friends. That's what I did. So the initial stage is hard. You're changing your personality a lot, right? So It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. That's why I get, I would say about 40 to 50% of my clients keep rehiring me for coaching. And it's not because they don't know what to do. It's because they want that encouragement to change, basically to do it. I mean, the hard part is doing it. They already know what to do. And then we keep doing it, coming at different ways. I keep telling them different stories. I keep encouraging, and we laugh at their mistakes. And they say, you won't believe what I did. It was so stupid. And we laugh it off. And I say, yeah, I mean, lots of people do that. It's hard changing who you are. And that's what I'm asking you to do, is change your basic, what comes naturally in your reaction with children is what we're changing. I always knew, don't show fear or anger or disappointment with kids. I knew from a very early age. I never did. I was very careful about that. So that's really hard to stop, that natural reaction to show disappointment and anger with your kids. You can't do that. Leader doesn't do that. Is 4 years old too late to become a leader for them? I specialize in teenagers. So no, it's never too late. Teenagers, you want them to be more the leader, but you still want to be there for the big stuff. You want to be the leader with the really big stuff. So it's never too late. 4 is like, they're just tiny. Most of my clients, I would say, no, I can't generalize because it changes all the time. But yeah, 4 is still considered very, very young. So not too late at all. Oh God, you're going to hate me. I'm going to lose you forever. This is Kate Link. Do you believe using positive language? Example, walking feet instead of don't run is most effective. That's just the woke culture stuff. I don't get into that. That is not me at all. At all. They don't care. Kids don't care about that woke stuff. Okay. You have some serious nuggets of gold. I've been doing this for a really long time. And I would say one of my absolute favorite sayings is, if you feel good, you do good. And that is really my basis for everything. If you know how to make kids feel good about themselves, they're going to do good. It's their self-esteem is what I'm after here. That if you feel good, you do good. I want them to have pride in themselves. I don't want to be telling them what to do. I hate that. I don't micromanage at all. I don't tell kids what to do. I want them to understand right from wrong, and they all do anyway, usually. They know when they've done something wrong, but I know how to come in with a consequence, but I don't discuss it really. I just come in with a consequence because I want them to feel good about themselves. That's the pool story. If you haven't seen the pool story, look it up. It's called, just look up, you can Google BratBusters pool story and it'll come up. It absolutely summarizes my approach to parenting. I deal with bad behavior, but I focus on the good kid. Their self-esteem is everything. How they feel about themselves when they're with you. It's everything. If you feel good, you do good. So I want kids to feel good. One of the nicest things anyone ever said to me was a teenager I had worked with said to me later on, I didn't like myself until I met you, Lisa. That was one of the nicest things I ever heard. Now, how do you think that teenager treated me? Pretty darn nice, right? You make people feel good about themselves, they will treat you like gold. And that's my approach to parenting. I want them to feel good about themselves. Okay, I got to get going. I got lots of work to do tonight. So backed up with emails. I'm going to do that. Check out my website. It's BratBusters.com. And you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and you can look into our podcast. It's called BratBusters Parenting, and it's on all the platforms. My daughter works with me in my business, and she's very much in charge of all this stuff. She does all the planning. And so we do the podcast together, and we just have a blast doing it. And we do it twice a week. We film about 4 a week, but we just pick the ones that we like the best to put out there. So we put a lot into it. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Happy parenting. Bye now.